Imagine you and your neighbor open the same grocery app at the same time and add the exact same item to your cart. You are charged one price. She is charged another. Same store, same product, same minute. No coupon, no membership tier. Just two different numbers on two different screens. If you compared receipts, you would assume one of you made a mistake. Neither of you did. The app simply decided, quietly and individually, what each of you was likely willing to pay before either of you ever clicked Add to Cart. This is not a glitch. Researchers who investigated it found this happening on a mass scale right now in 2025 and 2026. Economists have a name for it: surveillance pricing. And the reason it works on you specifically is not what you think. In December 2025, researchers working with Consumer Reports and the Groundwork Collaborative analyzed live pricing data from over 400 Instacart shoppers across 4 American cities. Instacart's response was not to deny the pricing varied. It confirmed it was running pricing experiments. Then, after the investigation and a demand letter from New York's Attorney General, announced in December 2025 that it would end the program. Think about what that means. A company with access to millions of shopping carts ran a live pricing experiment on real families buying groceries. And the only reason we know about it is that outside researchers happened to compare notes across 4 cities. Nobody was notified. Nobody opted in. The eggs simply cost different amounts, for reasons nobody shopping that day could have possibly known. In September 2000, an Amazon customer on an online DVD forum noticed something strange. He had paid $24.49 for a movie. A week later, the same listing showed $26.24. Then he deleted his browser cookies, and the price dropped to $22.74. Amazon had quietly tested random discounts of 20 to 40% on 68 DVD titles, and cookies were tracking who had already been offered which price. When the story broke, Jeff Bezos said publicly, quote, "We've never tested and we never will test prices based on customer demographics," end quote. Amazon called it a randomized pricing experiment, refunded nearly 7,000 customers an average of $3.10 each, and apologized. That was 25 years before your grocery app did the same thing to you and your neighbor. It kept happening. In 2012, the Wall Street Journal found Orbitz was showing Mac users hotel options priced roughly $20 to $30 a night higher on average than what PC users saw first. Not the same room at a different price, but pricier rooms ranked higher, because Orbitz's own data showed Mac users historically booked more expensive stays. Weeks later, the same reporters found Staples.com was pricing an identical stapler at $15.79 for one customer and $14.29 for another, a few miles away. The difference driven by each customer's estimated distance from a rival Office Depot or OfficeMax. And in 2015, ProPublica examined the Princeton Review's online SAT tutoring prices and found customers in zip codes with higher Asian population density were nearly twice as likely to be quoted the highest price tier, a pattern that held regardless of that zip code's actual income level. 4 separate companies, 15 years apart. Same underlying idea. The price you see is not fixed. It is calculated in real time based on what the algorithm has learned about you. And notice the pattern in how each company responded when caught. Amazon called it a test. Orbitz called it a ranking decision. Staples never really addressed it publicly at all. Nobody called it what a customer would call it, being charged more because of who the company suspected you were. Researchers at Northeastern University ran the most rigorous test of this to date. In a 2014 study, they used real accounts and real browsers to probe 16 major e-commerce and travel websites and found evidence of price discrimination or steering on 9 of them. Here is what actually feeds the algorithm. Your device and browser create something close to a fingerprint, screen resolution, installed fonts, and rendering quirks combine into a signature that can identify you again, even without a cookie. Cookies themselves track whether you are a new visitor or a returning one, and researchers found being a known, repeat customer sometimes gets you a worse price, not a better one, Because the algorithm has already learned you are likely to buy anyway. Add your estimated location, sometimes down to a specific zip code. Add whether you abandoned a cart yesterday, which often triggers an automatic discount today, purely to win you back. Industry marketing data suggests roughly 4 out of 5 abandoned cart emails include some form of discount, precisely because a hesitation at checkout is one of the clearest signals a pricing algorithm can read. Layer all of that into pricing software, and two neighbors typing the same search can be shown two different numbers, neither of which is a coincidence. This is also why it is often not the price that changes, but the order of what you see first. Orbitz never lowered a price for anyone. It simply decided which rooms a Mac user would see at the top of the list. Same tool, quieter version. And there is a second twist worth naming. Being a loyal, long-time customer does not automatically protect you. In some documented cases, it makes you a worse-priced target because the algorithm has already learned you rarely leave. UK regulators found this so consistently in car and home insurance that they banned the practice outright in 2021, estimating it was costing British consumers over £4 billion every year. American retail has no equivalent ban. The loyalty you feel toward a brand is to the algorithm. Simply one more data point about how price-sensitive you are not. In July 2024, the Federal Trade Commission issued formal orders to 8 companies, including MasterCard, JP Morgan Chase, McKinsey, and Accenture, along with 3 specialist pricing software firms, demanding to know exactly how surveillance pricing works behind the scenes. The FTC's own findings, published in January 2025, confirmed the pricing intermediaries it studied were working with at least 250 retail clients, grocery stores, apparel brands, home goods sellers, and feeding their pricing engines precise location data, browsing history, and, in some cases, tracking how your mouse moved across the page. Since then, it has kept scaling up. A Consumer Reports investigation into Uber and Lyft found a gap as wide as 42% between the highest and lowest price groupings shown for functionally identical rides. New York passed a law, effective November 2025, requiring companies to disclose when an algorithm is using your personal data to set your price, which is the legal basis New York's Attorney General used to demand answers from Instacart weeks later. Even the airlines have been pulled into this. In 2025, Delta's own president told investors the company was rolling out AI-assisted fares on a growing share of its domestic network, describing pricing tailored, in his words, to the individual. That single sentence triggered a formal letter from U.S. senators. Delta has since pushed back hard, stating publicly it does not use personal data to set individualized fares and calling the AI tool decision support only. We do not know which version is fully accurate, but the fact that a major airline had to publicly deny doing this, in writing, tells you how normalized the practice has become across the industry. To be fair to the companies here, in the United States, personalized pricing is not illegal simply for existing. It becomes illegal specifically when it is based on a protected characteristic, race, religion, national origin, rather than a neutral signal like location or device. Most of what is documented above sits in a legal gray zone, exploitative, rarely disclosed, but not against the law as written today. That is exactly why New York's disclosure law and several other states now drafting similar bills matter. They are trying to close a gap regulators admit does not clearly exist yet. None of this means the internet is rigged against you specifically. It means the price on your screen was never really a price. It is a guess. A guess about how much you, personally, are willing to pay, built from your device, your location, your habits, and your last hesitation at checkout. And once you know it is a guess, you stop treating it like a fact. A guess can be checked. A guess can be beaten. That is the entire shift this video is asking you to make. Not outrage, just a habit, repeated every time you are about to spend real money. You cannot see the algorithm, but you can now see the seams. Check the price logged out. Compare it across a device that is not yours. Clear your cookies before anything expensive. Use a tool that tracks history instead of one that just promises a discount. Subscribe for the next price decoded breakdown and tell us in the comments, have you and someone else ever compared prices on the same app at the same time and found they did not match?